Gosh, I must say, this is rather spiffing, isn't it? I've never seen anything like it. I really don't know what that human thinks about this, because he seems to struggle a little bit with it. But no, it's rather good. I like it. Press a few buttons, get some DTCs up, and it's all good, isn't it? Anyway, I'll just set that there to do a little bit of a health check. Yeah, press the button, away we go. Ah, that's great, isn't it? Spot on, spiffing. Okay, I'm just going to phone Mum and tell her all about it. Okay, I'll be seeing you later.
Oh dear me. Do you know, I was just dreaming about the chimp then, doing something intelligent. He was actually talking, unbelievable, in his own language. Yeah, so guys, today is a review of this Topdon ArtiDiag 600S, okay, which I wouldn't say I've put it through its paces completely, but I've had a couple of weeks with it in a professional environment and a domestic environment as well, and there is a lot to it, okay. So what I'm going to do first of all is give you a heads up and say that this is on a special between certain dates, which are listed below here, below this video on YouTube. If you want to pick up yourself a bargain and you're interested in it, now's the time to. It's not bad, to be honest with you, but this is what this video is about. It's just giving you the heads up of it and the experience I've actually had with it over the last couple of weeks in a professional environment, yeah. So anyway, I'm now going to have another 20 winks and we'll crack on with the video, okay? So enjoy. See you later.
Right then guys, let's kick off with telling you that it's a mid-level diagnostics tool, okay? So ArtiDiag 600S is middle of the middle range. So this is the one that we have with us, is the 500 and the 800, so we have the 600S. Not bad at all, it's all integrated, and the connector is integrated as well, so it's not an extra connector you have to worry about, okay? 4 main systems that it covers: engine, transmission, airbag and ABS, which generally is sufficient for most tasks, whether it be DIY or basic workshop, okay? If you take a step up on the mid-level diagnostics tools, you have the 800 BT. This is a Bluetooth BT, so it's ArtiDiag 800, 28 maintenance service reset. So that's a big difference, a lot more systems covered. Topdon do a lot of diagnostics tools. They do basically from the DIY mid-level diagnostics tool and the integrated diagnostic tool, which is aimed at the professional. Always up to date because the updates are free, okay, for the ArtiDiag range, which is good because this is very competitive towards other scanners, okay. So when it comes to key programming, immobilizer stuff like that, scanners are not very good. Topdon do T-Ninja and Top Key as well, which I'd like to get my hands on at some point in time, but just to make you aware that this company is actually quite large, so they cover a lot of software. So let's go on to Chimp then. Yeah, he was trying to diagnose this Citroen C3, and it is a rule of thumb that the DLC diagnostic link connector plug will be somewhere near the steering wheel. That's usually where it is. I'll point it out on this Isuzu, it's actually underneath the steering wheel just there. However, Vauxhall is by the handbrake, and you'd never know where it was unless somebody told you, okay? So you have to lift the panel off. It's the same with some older Peugeot. So yeah, there you go, there's your DLC diagnostic link connector plug, yeah? So good luck with that, Chimp. I know he's actually quite clever. He can work things out, but it takes a little bit of time, just like all of us. When you get to know where they are, sometimes you have to Google it. Yeah, you'll find it. So he's found this in the glove box, which if it was a left-hand drive vehicle, that would be on that side, wouldn't it? So technically it would be near a steering wheel, wouldn't it? Yeah. So let's carry on a little bit deeper here. Now, Chimp is fairly simple in his needs, and he doesn't understand much about automotive vehicles at the moment. He's happy to find P codes if a mill light comes up on the dashboard and then delete them. That's usually what people say, isn't it? Yeah, just delete it, which means you only need a cheap diagnostic tool, okay, for deleting codes. Yeah, but it can be frustrating when the P code keeps returning and you can't get rid of the fault. It means you have to do more investigation. So enter Boney. This is Chimp's alter ego, Boney is actually very thoughtful, and he does take time investigating things. Curious as well to find out what's going on behind the scenes. So just for instance, here on the live data stream, you can get graphing out of this scanner, okay, whether it be engine speed, calculated pedal position, so you can see how the graphing actually is. I'll just apologise for the state of the screen, it's not good, but you can amalgamate these graphs as well. Now Boney is very interested in what's going on with the vehicle. If there is a fault, you can investigate it with the live data, okay, especially when it comes to emissions and those niggly problems that just don't seem to go away. So just for instance, you can pick a set from a list, okay, O2 sensors, air fuel ratio, and fuel trim, okay, so you can have to maximum of 4 on this graphing, and you can watch what's going on either numerically or graphically. Now the graph isn't the best, but it does give you a visual representation of what's going on, especially if you're pushing the throttle pedal down or not. So this is the type of thing where you have to start thinking, okay, and investigating and learning about the system. Once you start to learn about vehicle systems, you can then do further investigations. So yeah, this is the power. This is where the real power. This is backdoor diagnostics, okay, this is just to give you an idea what might be going on. So coolant temperature here, just an example, and this is what Boney found today actually. Coolant temperature, you can get the voltage and the degrees range, and he's got the engine speed running as well, so the engine is actually running on idle at about 800 RPM. Coolant temperature is 92 degrees. Now you can graph that, okay, you can see that. Is it interesting? Well, over a period of time, it might be. Over a period of time over voltage, you can watch how things develop, okay? So just as a matter of interest, he actually found that the ECU was telling us that the gauge is wrong. That's not 92 degrees centigrade on there. So yeah, he's very good with this. He likes this graph, and he likes the information that's being presented to him. Yeah, that is spot on. And very cultural, if you like, okay, so he can spend hours watching what's going on. If he gets misfires or it's running too rich, he can look at the short and long term trims, for instance, but it does take some learning to do. Every vehicle is like that. Right, now Chimp's gloves are not good with touchscreen, and he can get figures up, but you can see here it doesn't work very well. It's the material in the gloves. And it got him a little bit frustrated at one point because he's pressing buttons and he can't get what he wants. Now the idea here, you can see Boney's gloves got the right gloves for touchscreen. Touchscreen works fine on this item, which is brilliant. Generally, cheap scanners will go for the EOBD or OBD2 ports and the information in the ECU, but this goes for the generic, which is the manufacturer's information. And of course with that you can access, well, on this one it will be maybe 4 ECUs maximum, but the difference here is that you are digging into the manufacturer's settings for the vehicle that you're diagnosing for, yeah. It does take a little bit of time, but you get health report scans or system scans, which usually is what you'd want to do, is a system scan health report, and they do take time, yeah. So unfortunately nothing's that quick. This, unfortunately, if you're very impatient, it won't work with you, because you have to let the thing load up into the scanner, okay. But generally, okay, this is an Android 6 system, and it is actually Bluetooth enabled. It's a little bit like a mobile phone, okay. So you connect it with Wi-Fi first of all, and then you put your downloads in, okay. And when you're going for diagnostics or a VIN search, you also do really need a Wi-Fi. It helps, okay. But yeah, health scan is, well, that's just generally accepted these days. You do a health scan, that will come up with DTCs if there are DTCs in there, and then you can dig into each ECU and have a look, okay. In that case, he'd already been in there, wiped a DTC and then done a health check, and he's happy because all the rest of the system is okay. This, surprisingly, with the snap-on gear that I have to go into each ECU separately, okay. But he did find a fault code earlier, which was P0704, which is on the ABS side, actually, clutch switch incoherence. And generally what a lot of guys do is they just clear the faults and they're happy with it, but you really do need to understand what the fault code actually means. In here, repair library, okay, OBD fault codes. Chimp's gloves aren't actually too good on the touchscreen. Bearskin or nitrile gloves work quite well actually. Yeah, so we put P0704 in, and what happens is got vital information which will help him with diagnosis if he understands what to do, okay, because sometimes you really do need to check before you replace. Yep, so that is one facility that's actually pretty good, okay. This one is for everybody really, but for guys that are charging to do the jobs, then to send the information to people, or even if you're employed by somebody and you need proof of what you've had a look at to cover your backside, you can email it, you can make a report, PDF, whichever way you do it, you keep a record of what you've done. So here's a Top Don's video, which I found quite interesting actually, because yeah, 8 maintenance resets: ABS bleed, BMS, battery maintenance system, steering angle sensor, brake resets, throttle adaptation, oil reset, okay, and time pressure maintenance system and DPF. Yeah, that's all in here, okay, which are these buttons. And over time, and depending on what vehicle you have, you may use these, you may use them on somebody else's, or it may give you information on what you need to do certain things, okay. So this one here is a Fiat Ducato, and I did tell you about it if you watch my channel regularly in the last video, okay. So DLC connectors there you go. Touchscreen works really quickly with bare hands, doesn't it? Yeah. And yeah, I've had a dig about. This was actually the first medium weight commercial vehicle that I looked at with this system, and it got into it no problem, okay. So that's pretty good, yeah. Oil resets, bleed, brake, BMS, all of that is here, okay. Now, generally what we do more than anything is oil resets, yep. So I'm going to tell you about that right now. Okay, so what we got is a Fiat Ducato here, and I just want to see if I can switch off the oil light, because when the Ducato is up for an oil change, it flashes the oil warning lamp. So you need one of these to reset it. I'm just going to have a look, see if I can do it. And of course it'll have to go under Fiat. Yeah, Fiat. Ignition is on, okay. Yeah, some of this does auto VIN reading for later cars. Some of it's you have to put the information in manual, or it'll get close to it. Software reset, auto scan, communication. Yeah, we'll see how this does, because actually oil change. Okay, no. Okay. Right. Number of automatic resets twice. Remaining percentage of not exhausted engine oil is 85%. Yeah. So odometer was 81,938 kilometers the last time it was done, because I'd done that. Next distance to next oil change, I'll say, is 1,500 kilometers. Actually, that's quite good. Yeah. So I'm not going to. Well, actually, let's go to next. Once the key command has been sent, turn ignition off. Yeah, so this does an oil reset. Doesn't matter because this has got in for service anyway, so I'll do this now and then that'll be all good. Yeah, I've got to wait a minute, a whole minute, so yeah, I'm gonna have a coffee and come back. Yeah, so we've done that, reset it, and it's also got some P codes to sort out as well. But another one here, which is a Fiat 16 plate. Okay, keep that in mind whilst I put the diagnostic tool on it. Oil change again. Okay, so we've done a VIN scan on this one. This is automatic. It likes to be connected to the internet for a VIN scan. Okay, so yeah, there we go. There's a chassis number, model year 2008. 2008, that's 16. Yeah, well, that's what it comes under. Okay, so these are simple vans. There's not much to them at all. Commercial vehicles, so the software doesn't change much, unlike cars. This DLC, you need to take a panel off by the steering wheel and plug it in. Okay, we'll just quickly read the faults, and you should do this on every single time you get a vehicle in. Is have a look at the DTC codes. Yes, we do have one. We'll make a note of that. But if you notice, that's P2299-62. The 62 indicates a direct manufacturer's code. So oil light on. Okay, got a note from somebody. It's flashing only when the engine is running, so we'll take their word for it and we'll do an oil change. But this is what I want to show you, the screen, which I didn't show you on the last Ducato. Okay, so we'll carry on with this communication, and here we go. Number of automatic resets. Okay, that's not automatic. Remaining percentage of oil not exhausted, 0. Okay, so remaining distance to next engine oil change is 0. Yeah, so it flashes when it needs an oil change. You change the oil and then you reset this because it needs to know how much dilution of diesel there is in oil. Okay, generally you'll click next, but what I did, I left this for the apprentice that works with us to do this, and he actually did it right first time. Brilliant. Okay, so it's quite easy. So hot resets, relearns, maintenance. There's 8 of them. Okay, I can't do all of them here because I haven't covered all of them, but they will do them if it's relevant to your vehicle. Okay, one thing that is important, and I'll just quickly show you this, is DPF filter regeneration. Yeah, there's 2 parts to it. It's either when you fit a new filter or exhaust, yeah, you can do that and tell it that it's had a new DPF, or just do a filter regeneration if it is required, and that depends on how much soot you have in there. So before the mill light comes on, you can actually check the DPF to see how much soot is there, and that will tell you in the live data section of this scanner. Yeah, so that's the power of it. Okay, now there's another one that I did, which is an Isuzu. This was difficult. I've got to admit, this was really difficult to actually find the model. Okay, because it's a D-Max, something like that. So I had to spend a little bit of time with this vehicle and dig into it and see which one I could get, because when it says Isuzu, okay, I got one which wasn't right and I couldn't read it, and I wondered why that was. It's simply because it is because of the export area. Okay, so I kept getting up an N series, which is the cab over ones. Now this one, I'll just quickly brief you on this. I had a complaint, leaking brakes. Okay, there wasn't actually a brake pedal or very little brake pedal because the fluid was leaking, but I was trying to see if I could get a bleed system. This one for the UK is JP Isuzu, which is Japanese Isuzu, and once I'd found that, I went into it and I was quite happy that I could get into the ABS system. I was also looking for a way to bleed it. Okay, there isn't a bleed system on this for the ABS pump, which, okay, never mind. If it's not there, you probably don't need it and you can bleed it up normally. Okay, so the live data section of this scanner, which is important, you can check things like master cylinder pressure sensor input to see if it's correct or not. Yeah, that's the power of it. There's a lot more to it. I will do more content about this scanner as I do my videos and my vlog, which is with my toolbox. Okay, trying to fit this toolbox. But in the meantime, if you're interested, there's a link below. Go and get one. If not, watch me first of all, and then if you like, buy one if you're convinced. It's up to you. It's a buyer's market, isn't it?